Welcome to Whitley. Whitley has been here for a very long time, since around 1887. It's a big place with a huge community presence, filled to the brim with untapped potential and a lot of skill. Historically, we don't always receive the same level of care and opportunities that other areas receive, because here in Whitley, we are an area of deprivation. According to the 2011 Whitley profile, 30.4% of Whitley's residents have no educational qualifications for employment, compared to the 17.4% in Reading as a whole. 17.4% of the ward's population are in semi-routine, manual and service occupations, such as postal workers, farmers and machine operatives.
My nan grew up in Whitley, my mum grew up in Whitley. Like you had Whitley Park School, George Palmer School. It's all different today, but that's what it is. Once you're here, you will love it. And you've even got the Whitley Museum. Brilliant, I love it. That is true Whitley. You had Ashmead School, even Ricky Gervais is from Whitley. Go Whitley!
This is Whitley Cafe, the heart of Whitley. Many things happen here, from knit and natter, where the ladies come together to share their knowledge of knitting and just have a good old chat. We have Communicare run by Jo, who lets everybody know what they're entitled to and any other benefit-related questions. We also have Meet Pete, run by NHS nurses who offer health checks for anybody, and especially those who can't make it to a GP. The cafe is an amazing place of comfort and support within the community, and we think it's an excellent model that other communities around should access and replicate. Because of the amount of barriers in place, many don't get to witness the talent and skill within Whitley. In this documentary, we want to explain the barriers to entering the film and TV industry and see what we can do to change them.
I've got a book of Reading, past and new, and Whitley's always been there. Everybody here in Whitley, they love it, absolutely love it. People still slate it, but we need it, and the hub here is brilliant. The cafe is perfect. And then in the evenings we go to the club sometimes.
Social club, yeah.
The social club. And that is brilliant because everybody will help you. You know, if you're in stress, you can come here, sit down, have a chat, get a few bits from the surplus. Mm-hmm. And you've got Communicare as well, and they help you. If you have problems, they can help you. And in the local shops here, people know me by my name and say, all right, Lynn. Yeah. And just something small like that, it makes you feel better.
Well, I'm more of a people's person anyway, so when people come in, I like to interact with them. You get to know them, you get to understand why they're here and their needs. And I find that very helpful. So having this opportunity to work there at the hub and have the cafe it really is a good thing for an area like Whitley, which is one of the most deprived areas in Reading, and we have got that opportunity for people to come in and chat with others and feel at home really.
Do you have any kind of current understanding about the barriers that there would be for an area like Whitley to get into the film industry?
Well, I think that, people don't really, and they're not aware of what's here, and there are a lot of people in Whitley that have a lot of skills. There's so many talented people in Whitley, but it's just known what's out here for them to access.
I think for me, it's going to be tough for me to get into the film industry because I don't know how to contact the film industry. So I think people need to go out there to talk about the film industry more, like phone numbers, how people to get into the film industry. I think that was very important as well, because if you don't know how to enter, who number you can call, where you can go, all those places you need to know. So I said, if I want to go, I'm an electrician, I'm a plumber, I have the skill, but how can I enter? So I think there's a phone number they need to go out and tell people, talk about it more and more, so more people come into the film industry with different type of skill.
Obviously, but my eldest has got Down syndrome. We're struggling to put him into any work whatsoever, internships or anything. So, and he is obsessed with films and YouTube and things like that. If he was able to go in and work in Shinfield Studios, that would be amazing. But again, how would you do that? What would you do? Like, who would you contact? So if he did want to go into film, etc., he would come up across so many barriers before he'd even applied for a job. He wouldn't be able to apply for it because they'd want to know what he could offer, but also what support he would have, what we could put in place, what they could put in place. And there's so many different people involved and no communication. So it's just chaos. It needs one person to say, oh yeah, no, don't worry, he'll be fine, we'll do this and we'll do that, and actually do their own research for it to actually work. But you don't get that often because it's too much work for them. Too much work for them. So it's having someone behind him that can push for what he wants and not limit him, because it's the limitations that it's people's limitations, not his, because he could do anything if he put his mind to it, or if he wanted to do it. But it's other people's expectations of him as well.
So, and I've always been in this area for many years now, nearly 30 years I've been over here now. And I found with Whitley that this side do struggle a lot more. We don't have a lot of the opportunities that maybe different parts of Reading might have. So we get a lot of input from other places. But living there myself and things that I've been able to do, I think going into like a filming industry or something like that, I probably would struggle because I haven't been able to get all of the information and things that I've needed over the years living over here in this area. This is what I mean, where other areas are a lot more privileged. But not that it's can't be done, it could be done. Plus I find even like with one of my grandchildren who has ADHD, for her to go into like something like filming and that, she would struggle because of her condition, and plus living over here in Whitley as well, you know. So there's a lot of factors why I think we find it very difficult to get into that area.
So with that, there's a studio, I don't know if you know, up in Shinfield, film studio.
No, I wasn't aware.
But otherwise it was a straightforward.
How long did it take you guys in the end?
I believe I would say about 10 minutes.
Not bad at all,
but
then.
It was more of a slower drive.
Sounds like quite an easy journey.
Very easy.
So it's not quite as simple coming from public transport. There are two different routes you can take, but we took the one where you've got to walk for about 15 minutes-ish, get on about a 5-10 minute bus, and then actually this bus stopped right outside. But the walk's quite long, so if you have for any reason can't do long walks, going by public transport may just not be accessible. They do run a bit earlier and a bit later than I thought they would, so they do start quite early, they do start quite late. However, working within the film industry, you need to be up and already in the studio by a certain time, usually before 6 in the morning, whereas these buses don't start until 8 minutes to 6. So if you've got an early start, public transport's out of the question altogether. Yeah, I just wanted to know whether they mentioned it within the, because this is actually Berkshire Live, which means this is the one that is actually, so this is the news for Reading and the Berkshire area. So I wanted to know whether the information had reached that there was actually jobs going. But to be honest, a lot of this just looks like it's actually just talking about the general planning permission for the studio and not mentioning at all that this is opening up a lot of jobs. If we go back, maybe, but they're all like contractor type roles, yeah. So they're like outside, so they'd be like self-employed people. A lot of this all looks kind of like outside contractors being brought in. However, it does say that it's urgent, so that they're urgently looking for film and studio staff. As we sat down to look at the information and opportunities online, it was very clear that there's a lot of information, but it's not clear where to start or where to go if you want to shine. especially if you have no connections to the industry itself. Moving forward, the university could be a great starting point of information for the community, bridging the gap between them and the film industry. Better connection between the university and the local community could open so many doors for more information, partnerships and training to develop the talent already within the area. Film workshops and clubs could also be a great addition, run by the students at the University of Reading with the Whitley Community Development Association.
The CAF can be a prime place for change to happen for those who want access to the film industry, being able to use the same place to learn, share information and resources, and help create aspirations for the film and TV studio, which could be really meaningful. This in turn means that we can get information and support to the wider community. A industry liaison officer can be present at the cafe like Comicare and Meet Pete to share information and opportunities. The industry liaison officer can be funded via the university, council or industry, and can be someone who helps the community stay up to date with the film and TV industry.
This is an opportunity to nurture the talent in the Whitley community to create a vibrant culture of films at the cafe. Young people of Whitley came together in August of 2023 to express how they view access to film and TV career opportunities. This went really well and opened up the conversation for change. Here are some more solutions that would work. Local community networks can arrange the quarterly or half-yearly meetups in different community centres, for example, Whitley, Caversham, Tilehurst, and many more. This can help connect the people from different local communities interested in or already working in the industry to connect and learn from each other to make Berkshire more connected to the industry.
It needs to be kind of stronger in some places, but in terms of, I guess, I know we're moving a little bit into reflection already, but we will need to move to a different space for that at some point. But in general, do you think that, what are the themes do you think the film is representing at the moment, and do you think they're what you wanted it to be?
When we first started discussing barriers, it sounded so daunting, like, well, how do you get past all of this? Like, it's barrier after barrier after barrier, but actually, when you start to actually open the conversation about the barriers, they're not as big as they seem. Like, they are doable if everybody came together and worked on it together, instead of like just yourselves trying to work on barriers. The more people you've got, the more voices you've got, the more likely you are to be heard. And I'm definitely seeing that through the people that are talking to us in the documentary. When we first started talking to them about barriers, to now talking to them about barriers, even they can see, actually, no, there is a way out of that, and there is a way to get help, and there are people to talk to. But when you don't know, you don't know. Like the lady said in the documentary, what number do you call? Who do you go to? I would know at least to be like, actually, there are people who are willing to work with everybody, and there are people who are willing to go that bit further, and the more people that do that, way more accessible film and TV will become.
I quite agree.
Vandy's like, I'm done. This is all I wanted to say.
I said it all, you know, but it's been a very good experience. Meeting people, which we do every day, but then to hear the other side of it, you know, people did not know about this film studio. We are able to enlighten them about it, which is great. And through that, you're talking to people, the pride that these Whitley people have, you know, they are so, is it patriotic? Yeah,
I know what you mean.
You know, it's Whitley.
Whitley solidarity.
You know, like I said before, Lynn, she said it all for me, you know. She came there and she was just talking to you, and it just happened that this one's going to
roll.
Roll. And by doing that, we got so much out of her, and we were able to continue following that kind of route, and then filming people, seeing how people came forward to be filmed, to talk about the barriers and all these things to do with Whitley. Was very good as well, you know. And what I think it has done as well is opened when people see the film, I think it will open up a lot of people and councils and all these agencies to be looking at Whitley in a better light, so that they will have a better opportunities.
For me specifically, seeing the kind of systemic issues that are there, that are systemic across the board everywhere, like just the class struggle that we're generally seeing, and the fact that a good majority of people of color, queer people, differently able people, all of them being kind of centered around that space in Whitley as well, is unfortunate but not unexpected, which is like not great. Like hearing that Whitley's on the lower end when it comes to education, unfortunate but not unexpected, which it shouldn't be the case. And I'm glad that we're doing a project that kind of highlights that, and it's great that we're bringing cinema into it, because not only from a pragmatic standpoint does it encompass a lot of different fields of work, but at the same time it also like is an inherently collectivist art form.
I was so glad that we were able to represent a wider variety of experiences here, where for me that has been valuable. Learning also, it continues to be a part of your unlearning when you're saying that you have to take a day off because of your kid, or your daughter has had a child and you want to, and that is what it needs to be. Unfortunately, it does mean that like in production context, every day, every hour is money. So I see why we are working on that kind of a thing, but it doesn't take much for us to care, and that's hopefully the experience we have all had. I mean, that's genuinely something that I know that I wanted to, whether or not we make the best film in the world, and whether or not people respond to it the way we are expecting them to or wanting them to, I'm really, really just thankful that we've all worked together collaboratively, genuinely, to make this film. Thank you.
I'm proud of it. I am proud of it. I am.
Well, we have something to eat here and drink here.
What, are you going to have a snack and a drink now, are you? You're going to have a little break and have a snack and a drink?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've done such hard work, haven't you? I think you deserve it.